The clock is ticking in Green Bay, and one Packers star may be running out of time. Something is stirring beneath the surface in Green Bay. You can almost feel it. A quiet unease behind the smiles. A growing tension hidden beneath the headlines of a promising season. The Packers have been busy shaping their future, locking in cornerstones on offense and setting the stage for another playoff run. But somewhere in the middle of all the celebration, a storm is forming, one that could decide the fate of a young defensive star whose window to secure his future might be closing faster than anyone realizes. The Packers have already made one major move this season, inking Christian Watson to a long-term contract that solidifies his place as a foundational piece of the franchise. There are whispers that Romeo Doubs could be next, especially after his impressive performance in Watson's absence. With rookie sensation Matthew Golden emerging as another explosive weapon, Green Bay's offense looks like a blueprint for the future, young, fast, and built to last. But while the spotlight burns bright on that side of the ball, shadows loom large on the other. And in those shadows stands Lucas Van Ness, a player fighting not just for a contract, but for his identity in a league that moves on quickly from promise unrealized. A star on the edge, and on the clock. When the Packers drafted Van Ness in the first round back in 2023, the pick was hailed as a move for dominance, a bold investment in raw athletic potential. Van Ness was seen as a prototype of the modern pass rusher, big, violent, and fast enough to bend around tackles like smoke curling through air. Fans envisioned a young Clay Matthews-type force, someone who could terrorize quarterbacks for the next decade. But reality, as it so often does in the NFL, proved far less kind. Through his first 2 seasons, Van Ness flashed moments of brilliance, bursts of speed, flashes of disruption, but consistency remained elusive. Injuries, adjustments, and the weight of expectation combined to stall his rise. 7 sacks across 2 full seasons isn't terrible, but it's not first-round production either. And in Green Bay, where patience is finite and the next draft class always looms, that can quickly become dangerous territory. So as the 2025 season began, Van Ness found himself staring down a simple truth. This was the year to prove he belonged, and for a while, it looked like he might just do it. His play through the first 6 weeks showed renewed energy, quicker hands, better leverage, smarter reads. He was generating pressure, collapsing pockets, and finally earning the kind of attention that once seemed inevitable. He logged 1.5 sacks early in the season and appeared poised to build on that momentum. Then came the injury, a seemingly routine play, a rush off the edge, a sharp turn, a planted foot, and just like that, the noise faded. A foot injury forced him to the sidelines, and suddenly, everything he had been fighting for was once again uncertain. Bleacher Report's Brad Gagnon summarized it bluntly. The window is closing fast. Those words hang heavy in Green Bay now. The kind of words that echo in hallways and front offices when decisions are being made. A game of timing, talent, and trust football at its core is a brutal game of timing. Not just between quarterback and receiver, but between player and opportunity. And for Lucas Van Ness, timing may be his greatest enemy. He's only 24 years old, young, strong, still full of potential, but the Packers' defense has evolved quickly around him. With new faces emerging and veterans like Rashawn Gary anchoring the pass rush, the competition for snaps has never been fiercer. If Van Ness can't return healthy and dominant, he risks fading into the background. Not because of lack of talent, but because the NFL never stops moving forward. Sources inside the organization suggest that the Packers aren't rushing to extend him. That's not necessarily a bad sign. Green Bay has always been methodical with contract negotiations, but it's telling. Van Ness is playing in a contract year, and the team knows it holds the leverage. If he finishes the season strong, they might be forced to act. But if he fades, they can pivot quickly toward the draft, searching for cheaper, fresher legs. That's the silent calculus happening behind the scenes, and Van Ness knows it. Every practice rep, every snap, every play on film becomes a data point in his fight for relevance. He's not just battling opposing offensive linemen. He's fighting against the perception that he might be replaceable, the weight of expectation for fans. It's easy to forget how heavy that weight can be. Being labeled a first-rounder is both a badge and a burden. Expectations rise, patience shrinks, and every small mistake feels magnified. For Van Ness, the label of potential bust has followed him like a shadow since year 2. And yet there's still something about him, The way he moves, the flashes of dominance that keeps hope alive. You can see it in the way teammates talk about him. Quiet respect, genuine belief. He's not a diva, not a distraction. He's a worker, relentless, disciplined, and aware that his time to prove himself might be slipping away. The Packers coaching staff continues to back him publicly, emphasizing his progress and praising his work ethic. But in Green Bay, public praise often hides private urgency. The team is building momentum, and they need production now, not potential later. If Van Ness can find that extra gear, if he can stay healthy, stay focused, and capitalize on the attention that players like Micah Parsons draw from opposing lines, he might just rewrite his story. Because make no mistake, the Packers don't want to move on from him. They just need a reason not to. Behind closed doors in Titletown. Behind the scenes, the Packers front office is already looking ahead to 2026. Draft boards are being built. Budgets are being calculated. Future rosters are being mapped out piece by piece. And somewhere in that complex equation sits Van Ness's name, with a question mark beside it. Do they believe he can still become the player they drafted him to be? Or has time and circumstance already written a different ending? It's a quiet drama, but a powerful one. And in many ways, it mirrors the essence of what makes the NFL so compelling. For every superstar whose story is told in lights, there are a dozen others fighting in the shadows for the chance to stay relevant. Lucas Van Ness might be one of those fighters right now. As the season winds on and the pressure builds, one thing becomes clear. This isn't just about numbers or contracts. It's about legacy, about proving to himself and to everyone watching that the best chapters of his career haven't been written yet. The fans hold the final word, and that's where you come in. Because stories like this, the stories of uncertainty, resilience, and redemption, aren't just written on the field. They're shaped by the voices of fans who care enough to keep the conversation alive. So what do you think, Packers fans? Has Van Ness shown enough to deserve a long-term deal? Or is it time for Green Bay to move on and invest in a new generation of talent? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't just type extend him or trade him. Leave a smart, strategic comment that sparks discussion, that gets others talking, debating, and weighing in. Your words help push this community higher in the algorithm, bringing more fans into the conversation, and keeping Packers Nation thriving. If you love this kind of deep dive storytelling, the kind that goes beyond stats and dives into the human side of the game, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss what's next. Every click, every share, every thoughtful comment tells us you want more stories like this, and we'll keep bringing them to you. Because in Green Bay, every second matters. For the players fighting for their future, and for the fans who live every moment with them, and for Lucas Van Ness. That second hand might already be moving faster than anyone dares to admit.